Hey folks, I wanted to do a quick video in response to some that Alex has been posting, and obviously talking about some of the key events that have been going on in the last few weeks and months. Obviously the two big things that are happening at the moment are Fukushima and Libya. Interesting that Libya is kind of on the front pages a lot now, and Fukushima seems to have disappeared off to the middle of the newspapers, or the very low links on websites. I mean, if you go to the BBC website, there's plenty of days now where you don't see anything about Fukushima on there. In the paper this morning, I was reading the London Metro and having a look over the Times. It says that radiation from Fukushima has reached Britain now, but the message was that it was several thousand times lower than was experienced from Chernobyl. So, of course, we really don't need to worry about it. And maybe we don't. Maybe if it's thousands of times lower than Chernobyl, maybe we don't need to worry about it. I was around when that Chernobyl went up, and I'm still alive. Don't know that I've got any damage or cancers or anything like that yet. Certainly haven't died of it, nor of my friends. So maybe we don't need to worry about Fukushima. I find it interesting that we have this difference in the way that we get told things. And again, Alex talks about this all the time, doesn't he? And the difference here is that we're told that Fukushima isn't as bad as Chernobyl, so obviously it's going to be lower, right? I mean, that's pretty much a given. We were not being told anything in the UK about whether this radiation is going to continue to blow over the UK. It's some of the northern European countries as well. I'd need to check to remind myself which countries, but if you think about where Britain is and kind of go north on the globe, some of those as well have experienced the radiation coming over to their countries, and we're not being told whether that radiation is going to accumulate, whether we should be careful of, eating fish from the North Sea. Nothing's in the papers at the moment. I only saw one reference to the fact that the radiation had actually blown over to us, and I found this really interesting. Alex again mentioned yesterday the readings from Fukushima. It was 10 million times the radiation. He suggested that couldn't happen except maybe in exploding stars or something. I'm no astrophysicist, so I don't know, but I'd be kind of concerned that maybe somebody had actually made a reading that was accurate, if they are indeed making readings that are accurate, and been told to shut up. We've already seen that a couple of times. There is a conspiracy going on at Fukushima. There's no question about that, is there? We're not getting the right information. They're modelling the radiation output. We're seeing, was it neutron beams, I think, 13 times we saw in the newspaper there. So fusion is happening. One reference yesterday in the Metro, I think it was, the Evening Standard that we get here in London, that the water around the plant, the sea water around the plant, had been contaminated up to a mile out to sea. I looked over, BBC. I looked over some other sites. No reference to that at all. And I think that's come out a bit more now. I think they've kind of the news, the old, what does Alex call it? Dinosaur news has picked up on that now, finally. So, issues with seafood, etc. Where does that radiation go? Again, no idea. The point about Fukushima is it's affected the whole world. You've in the US, you've got West Coast USA sensors being turned off. I mean, what the hell is that about? Radiation sensors being turned off, just incredible. The government know it's coming. It's a cover-up. It's a cover-up and a conspiracy, isn't it? Because more than one person knows what's going on, and they've agreed not to give out the information. So conspiracy and cover-up, nothing less than we'd expect. I've got colleagues and friends that are going to Japan in the next few years. I wouldn't be. I ain't going to Japan probably in my lifetime. We'll have to see what happens. So Fukushima, very interesting. The next one that I noticed on the front of the paper this morning was about Libya. Now we know full well, again, all the governments are complacent in, not complacent, whatever that word is, in collaborating on how Libya is going to pan out. This is not an evolving situation. Obviously they've got a game plan in the background. They know what direction they want it to go in, and we're starting to see that a little bit more. An interesting thing again, Alex mentioned it yesterday and why I wanted to comment in this video on it, and I saw in the paper this morning was confirmed in the paper. I wonder if I can flash this. I'm kind of in the office here, so I'm not really supposed to be making videos for YouTube, but let's see. See if you can see this. Al-Qaeda joins Libyan battle. I mean, catch up. Again, this was on prisonplanet.com, etc. about 3 days ago, and of course, as usual, Alex is and his team, hey, being marked out as idiots, and here we are, Al-Qaeda. The newspaper article, again, I can't flash it around too much because I'm kind of at the back of the office here, but the newspaper article says they know Al-Qaeda's part of the rebel group, and they're looking at how do they work with them, how do our governments work with them, the British government, the US government, etc., to get rid of Gaddafi. So we're collaborating with terrorists now. I mean, a few years ago, it's just fucking ridiculous. A few years ago, it was the war on terror, and we're going to get rid of Al-Qaeda and all the rest of it, and all the countries' leaders are coming out and saying, we need to get rid of these people. And now we're saying, well, maybe we can collaborate with them in Libya. I'm sure later on we'll start finding out they're, not quite as radical or something. It's just ridiculous. Oh God, who is it? I forget which one it is now. How could I not? Hillary Clinton, of course. Damn, can't find a reference, can't look at the paper too long or I'll it'll be obvious what I'm doing. Hillary Clinton has actually come out and said that they're looking for legal ways to arm the resistance, and in the next breath they're saying, although we're not, they're saying that they know there's Al-Qaeda in the resistance groups, so they're basically saying they're looking for ways to arm Al-Qaeda. Right. This is just ridiculous. I mean, you couldn't make this stuff up, could you? Anybody who thinks that these governments, our government, the UK government, the US government, etc., are on our side. There are a few senators and a few ministers in the UK that are, but you see the kind of games they're playing here, and it is bait and switch, isn't it? Because what will happen is they'll find out there's a slightly more radical group of people in the organisation, in the rebel forces. And they'll say, oh, they've been overly infiltrated by Al-Qaeda. Maybe, because they're probably already in Iraq, etc. anyway. And that'll be their excuse to do the bait and switch and go and take out those guys. That's it. Unfortunately, I need to go. But I just wanted to point those two things out. The Fukushima thing is a complete mess. It is a conspiracy. There is a cover-up. There's no doubt about that. We're seeing that in the news. Anyone that doesn't think it is, anyone that thinks it's safe is insane. And our governments are sending our troops in there and spending $600 million or whatever the bloody cost is now, so we can arm a terrorist group that a few years ago we were told were the scourge of the earth and needed to be eradicated. It's screwed up. Wake up, get with what's really happening. Alrighty, I'm out. Cheers.